I greet you all, my brothers and sisters. I'm Sister Kevin from Uganda, and I'm here to present the experience of my pastoral life in the slums of Kampala. And the topic that I wrote is about the battle for survival, the social, economic, and religious struggles of young women in Kansanga slums, Kampala. This paper aimed above all to explore, articulate, and influence by improving the lives of the younger women of Kansanga slums in Kampala. I will briefly give you the statistics. The UN statistics indicate that in 2018, about 1 billion people lived in slums, and there's a projection by 2030 there will be over 3 billion people coming to live in urban areas, and the majority will be living in slums since it attracts the people of low income. How did I come to Kansanga? I went to Kansanga with a group of 6 young ladies, and we went for the purpose of study. I was pursuing my master's in education administration and management, and we got accommodation in Kansanga slums, and that is where I live with that team up to now. We started identifying the issues which are in the community and what was touching the lives of the younger women, the younger ladies. And one of the situations that some of us went to the slum of Kivero, and we saw, and I can assure you that that slum is 2 times better than the slum where I live. And one of the things that is Kansanga is known about is prostitution. When some of my friends met me and heard where I was living, they got scared and said, "Sister, are you safe?" 2, of recent, there is a very big number of teenage pregnancies which have emerged in the slums. And these young girls undergo various forms of abuses, emotional abuses, since the slums are dominated by very poor conditions, lack of good water, no good sanitation, and the structures are really pity to look at, whereby you see a family of 5 living in a 1-roomed house. By the way, I also live in a 1-roomed house. And in that situation, these children, these young girls are emotionally abused. 2, the young girls are sexually abused by their own relatives, by drug addicts, because the slum is dominated by a number of young boys who are dropouts of school, and they move around, take marijuana. Those are the local drugs that they took, and what they call oshiza. And this type of drugs instigate them to do a number of things. Among them is rape. We experienced a counseling session which we are still moving up to now. A girl who was sexually abused by her uncle, and she conceived. And that was a dilemma which today we are fighting. We are struggling with the church about abortion. In that status, how do you approach such a young girl? She hates this pregnancy because it was out of violence. At the same time, they are not given opportunity to speak out because their relatives whom they stay with, like aunties, they take it as a shame So they are suppressed and they are not given opportunity to speak. The majority of these young girls do not attend school, but they become domestic workers. We have a majority of Somalis living in the slums, and they go there work as potters. In some instances, they are abused and not even paid. In this situation, there is a dominance of delinquency in these slums, domestic violence. These young girls, these young children, look at their fathers. I don't know what they call, in Uganda now they call it marital rape, whereby a woman is not willing to go in for the sexual union with their husband because of respect of children. And so when they come, when they are drunk, they violate their women before their children. So this emotional abuse affects all spheres of life. That's why we call the socio-economic and religious struggles of the young women of Kansanga. In this status of the slums, which I wouldn't elaborate much about it, we do not have any trace of sponsorship or any project formed, but we decided, led by the gospel text, Luke 6, chapter 6, be merciful as your Father is merciful. 2, in the Jerusalem Bible, it brings it well. Be compassionate as your Father in heaven is compassionate. With the compassion, listening to this story, we began going out family to family, a time that we are not having classes on weekend, to listen to their struggles, to listen to their oppressions, to listen to their stigmatizations. And when you associate with the prostitutes, our sisters, even Sister Rosemary was sharing, our fellow religious, even priests, get scared and say, perhaps you are likely to be one of those. And the stigmatization which is there, the prostitutes are known. When we started associating with them, others would say, sisters, do you know the type of person you are? Yes, I do know. I know them. And when we approached this prostitute, one time I approached one and said, what makes you to do this? She started weeping. He said, sister, it is not my choice and I don't love it. I am a young girl of 20 years. I do not love this activity, but the situation which I'm passing through is forcing me to this. I'm jobless. I'm being sent away from my family clan. And in that status, in order to sustain myself, desperation, I give myself in prostitution for the exchange of need of money. What are we doing with these people? We reach out, give in counseling services within our reach. We do empowerment. What you see there, I asked our moderator to display. Thank you. To display, I displayed there. We began locally with the resources the pocket money would receive to make those beads, their necklaces, their bracelets, their earrings, with these ladies, first to make them feel love and warmth, feel compassion before we start communicating anything to them. 2, we began bringing them closer, the young girls, by engaging ourselves in sports activities. Netball, we could go to the sport. It was a moment of releasing their stress, and in that process, we could sit down and speak at leisure, and we got out what they are experiencing. We do not have any resource, but we share with them what we have. And through that, no one of us was trained. We are using phones to get the tutorials from YouTube. We get to learn, and then we go and teach them. And how did we get money to do that? It is through our pocket money. We eat less, and we give them what they deserve. We saved the lady who was supposed to dump the child, the 5-month child, because she conceived when she was still in school. She was rejected, and she wanted to abandon the baby. We called them in our small room and offered the child the love that it deserved. At the moment as we speak, that lady has got a job in nursery teaching, and she's with her child still breastfeeding at 1 year and 4 months. And she feels she cannot remove it from the breast. And what are we planning due to time? Within our own reach, neither we are not getting any support from any governmental organization, not even by the government, not by anyone, but through support of other people. Father Stan yesterday was asking me, oh, you have a nice phone. We are getting those tutorials from a small phone that I had, and it would black out. Someone said, sisters, what you are doing is great. I will get you a phone whereby you will be able to download those tutorials and do them at a time that you feel to support our women. So when you see me with such a phone, it is not a privilege. It is a mission that I'm carrying on. The plans that we have, God willing, one is to continue fostering education, especially I have now passion in psychology. Most drug addicts, the prostitutes, need to be going to the recovery homes and to feel the love and the warmth. But unfortunately, these homes are highly paid and they cannot afford to go in that said. We hope that one day we shall get one of our own. We need to empower women by using what is available within their reach. And we do not go and impose them what we want. We ask them, how can we help you? How best can we help you? What do you think can make you feel better and a happy person? And they give us the proposals. Basing on that, we reach out to them. We need to help them to discover their potentials, to discover human rights. These young ladies, they do not speak because they fear. They should not be intimidated because they need to speak out. That is why we chose our theological theme under Mary at the foot of the cross. There is a lot of persecution and pains going. And we cannot reach out to the hearts of people if we do not humiliate ourselves to be like them. Pope Francis said we need to go out and reach to the marginalized. We need to reach out and feel the smell of the sheep. I think this majorly was told to the bishops, but to all of us, the Christians, we need to feel the smell of the sheep in order to journey with them to the recovery, such that they once again feel that their images created in the likeness of God. Due to time factor, I've given a 0 minute. I stop here. Anyone who wants other discussions, please. These are the materials. Anyone can feel free. We do not have a fixed price, but if you want to take them, we continue working with these people who are highly stigmatized and who are dramatized. Thank you.